Okay, so today I thought we would talk about GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Mounjaro. There's another one, there's an R, it's oral. For the most part, uh, people are like aware of what medications are. They're not like a huge mystery. People know what they do, semaglutide, those kind of things. So with those medications, there's really two camps. There's people who are opposed to them and think that they're terrible, and there's people who think they're the greatest thing out there and that they're amazing. So good or bad. And kind of like with food, we need to really get off of this idea that all drugs are either good or bad and all food is either good or bad. Now, with a few exceptions to everything, like there are obviously some foods that are just bad and you shouldn't have, same with some drugs out there. But these medications are not it. So the people who think that they're bad, they think that everything that these drugs do can be accomplished through weight loss, dieting, training, and largely they're right. But the thing that they're forgetting is that they're taking out the human element. And there are some people who just, for whatever reason, cannot figure out how to eat in a calorie deficit, or they can't get to their cravings, or they just don't have the willpower to abstain in a social event because of whatever. And those reasons are their own. Some people have 100 different reasons as to why they can't lose weight. Some are valid, some are not. But at the end of the day, they just aren't making it happen. And it's kind of one of those things where you can't lead a horse to water and force it to drink. You can just take it to water. And it gets to choose if it's going to drink or eat. So that's where a lot of people are with the medications. And I'm sure that you know somebody who has struggled with weight loss forever and just cannot seem to get out of it. Then there's the other camp who think they're the best drug ever and that there is zero downsides to taking them, which also is farther from the truth, or is pretty far from the truth, because these drugs do have side effects, but the side effects are like obvious if you've taken a psychology or a physiology course, because if you're not eating, and these drugs, the thing that's amazing about them is they crush calorie intake. They crush the calories inside. We've always been told that calories in versus calories out. Old school fat burners, they helped with the calorie outside because they bumped up your metabolism and made you burn fat. But they pale in comparison to these GLP-1 drugs. They crush calories in. They just basically destroy appetite and you just don't really want to eat, which is nice because a lot of people who struggle with weight loss, they struggle with what people in the industry call food noise, which is just where they can't stop thinking about food and the taste and this, that, and the other, and they just crush it. They get rid of it. And so it makes eating in a calorie deficit not a big deal. And that's what these drugs do. All the people who are running around saying that, calories in versus calories out is not the key to weight loss. Yes, it is. And these drugs pretty much prove that because they just shut down your ability to eat and you magically lose weight. So the drugs are not just an end-all be-all side effect-free thing. They do cause muscle and bone loss among other things, mostly lean body mass. And they do that because while you're not eating, your body still has metabolic processes that it needs to take care of and it needs to do. And it needs amino acids and it needs calcium, other electrolytes for those processes. And so it goes to the place that has the highest store of those things in the body, namely the bones for calcium and the muscles for protein or amino acids. And that's where it goes. So if you're one of the people who are taking these drugs, best practice, you do whatever you're going to do, but best practice is to eat a reasonable amount of protein for your body weight. There are tons of calculators out there. A lot of people like to go, 1 gram per pound of body weight, but generally if you're using Ozempic, you're overweight. So it is perfectly reasonable to approach it with a 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. So let's say you're 300 pounds, you want to weigh 150 pounds. Great, eat 150 grams of protein. There's some calculators out there that show that you can go down to 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. Great, do that, okay? You should also strength train because your body does not know that you're lifting weights. Your body just knows that a stimulus is being placed on it every single day and it will adapt to meet that stimulus. That's how weightlifting works. If you're getting crushed every day by a bench press, your body's going to be like, I need to get stronger so I don't get crushed every day by this thing. So if you're getting reasonable amounts of strength training every day, your body is going to do what it can to preserve that muscle mass because it knows this load is going to be placed on it every single day. So, kind of a recap. These drugs are good. And they are not just good, they are not just bad, they are very neutral, and they are a tool we have in our toolbox to help somebody achieve a goal. There are plenty of people out there who the side effects of these drugs is far outweighed by the side effects of being morbidly obese for X amount of years. There's plenty of research out there showing that being morbidly obese is bad for the liver, bad for the heart, bad for basically every part of the body. It puts stress on your organs, all those things. And getting skinny will help to alleviate those issues. Those issues. Generally, if you're morbidly obese, you have metabolic dysfunction, which is not a good thing either. These drugs help with a lot of metabolic issues. They're actually one of the number one drugs that we prescribe for diabetes because they're effective. Diabetes is a metabolic issue. But there is best practice things that the people who are taking them should implement, and those things are eating adequate amounts of protein, honestly getting high quality food, because what tends to happen is people who use these drugs, they tend to want to snack on things that are tasty, and they end up not getting good food quality, not getting fruits and vegetables, not getting lean meats, and they end up eating a bunch of junk. So do yourself a favor, try to eat high quality food as much as you can, get your protein in, strength train, and do you in 2 years a favor now while you're taking these drugs. Optimize the effort that you're putting into these drugs for the best outcome in the future.